evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of The Unusual Suspects. I'm your unusual host, Vincent Oshana. Thank you guys again for joining. I'm going to go around and introduce everybody really fast so you guys know. Brady Matthews is here on my left, comedian, stripper, whatever he does. Brandon Aceto, future president of the United States. Taylerdegrande, beautiful, intellectual. She's at the beach at 4 a.m. eating sea moss or whatever the hell she's doing out there. And one of our newest unusual suspects, he works at Valuetainment. His name is Robert O'Rourke. Robert, can you take a minute? Tell everybody at home who you are, what you do, and what the lowdown is.
Well, I appreciate that, Vincent. Who I am, Robert. I've been around the Valuetainment crew for a couple years now. Went to Columbia University, studied neuroscience and psychology, clinical psychology. I've worked with addicts, alcoholics, been in HR for a while, done a whole bunch of stuff. So I have some unusual ideas.
Well, I'm pretty sure you have unusual stories, and guess what? I didn't know all that neuro. What the hell are you talking about?
It all makes sense now.
Now I get it. Now when I walk, now I get it. Now I'm telling you, now I get it. When I walk by you and you go, something's wrong.
What the
You
hell?
know. Is it body language or I don't even.
I'm watching. Vince.
Okay.
Always watching.
But thank you, Rob, for joining us.
Good to be here.
I'm going to give everybody at home a quick rundown of what we're going to talk about before we jump right into it. Robert, speaking of, he's going to talk to us about the virus SV40, which is a Pfizer vaccine. It's inside of Pfizer vaccine that it's causing turbo cancer. First of all, I didn't know that there was even a faster, higher, fifth year cancer, which we're going to get into that. Brandon is going to talk to us about a CIA firm, which is called In-Q-Tel, and how the CIA is basically controlling or influencing big tech companies. All of them or just some of them?
No, just select few.
Just probably the major ones.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Super.
Brady is going to talk to us about Michael Jordan's son, Marcus, who's now apparently dating Scottie Pippen's son.
No, Scottie Pippen's what? Scottie Pippen's.
Scottie. Wait. So wait,
What a topic, though.
wait, Michael Jordan's son. Oh, Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan's son. Here, I got it. Michael Jordan's son is going to marry Scottie Pippen's ex-wife.
Oh, he's marrying her.
Marrying her, yes. And we'll get into the details.
Oh, great. Well, that's. I can't wait. I don't know about you. Brandon, I like the fact you wore brown today.
Yeah,
we're matching.
Yeah.
But first, we're gonna get into my topic, my problem that I've been having. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and it's China. I genuinely think, and Brandon, I know you don't see in the same wavelength as me, but I want to find out what you guys think. I think China, to me, is a sleeping giant. I think we need to take them a lot more serious than now, more than ever, because their power militarily, internet, freaking cyber, everything that they're doing is stepping up. And I'm sick and tired of seeing China constantly take advantage of our country and literally get away with murder. From COVID, that's killed almost, I think, 6,990,000 people. Fentanyl, which kills over 100,000 Americans each year, and that number has gradually gone up every year. They keep buying important pieces of land across the United States, and in some cases right next to our military installations, which one of them was next to Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana, where I was stationed, which is a nuclear missile base. They can fly spy balloons over the country, hover over nuclear bases, collect data with impunity. They poison the minds of the youth with TikTok. They push LGBTQ nonsense on the youth, among other things like TikTok challenges where they're eating detergent and they're lighting themselves on fire. But their TikTok is only educational. You can't watch anything negative on their thing. It's all teaching those kids to be freaking soldiers. You know what I mean? So this is my opinion, China's strategically setting themselves up. Like, remember in Independence Day where the ship started going into the locations, and it was like a chess game, and then one day, boom. And I genuinely think, guys, it's gonna happen. Might not happen in 5, might not happen in 10, not even 20, but it's gonna happen. One of our writers at Valuetainment, his name is Shane Devine. Shout out to Shane at VT.com. Check it out for all the stories. He wrote an article recently where the Pentagon released a report analyzing China's military readiness. And guys, I literally had to print. Look look at this book, all right? Last week, the U.S. Department, the DOD, released this report analyzing how China intends to become a global powerhouse by 2049 through economic independence, technological supremacy, and geopolitical mastery. The document that I just showed you guys says the People's Republic of China, PRC, I'm going to use that abbreviation, is the only competitor to the United States with both the intent to reshape the international order, increasingly economic, diplomatic, military, technological power, and advance that objective. This pamphlet, which is online, Department of Defense. It's called Military Security and Developments Involving the People's Republic of China. It was released annually, and it's sent to lawmakers as part of a Congress mandatory program to assess the status of China with the focus on its military. The DOD paid approximately $178,000 just to make that, Rob.
It's not bad.
Oh, it's not bad. But
sounds like a discount.
It's to scare, it's to let you know these people mean business, okay? Brady. Brady, look over there, Brady. Okay, so inside this book, I'm gonna show you guys. I took a couple of excerpts. I mean, you guys obviously saw it's a freaking inch-thick pamphlet. So inside of this, Rob, they say war and military. The national strategy of the PRC is the great rejuvenation of the Chinese Party, unifying Taiwan by force. All right, they're letting you know what they're going to do with mainland China, as well as solidifying full PRC control of Hong Kong. They're readying themselves to fight and win wars against a strong enemy. You know who the hell that is. Numerically, the largest navy in the world is China. Did you know that, Taylor?
I didn't know.
The largest navy in the world, obviously you did, over 370 ships and submarines and over 140 major surface combatants. Its air force is also rapidly catching up.
They suck, though.
They suck what?
Their Navy sucks.
The Navy sucks.
Oh, God, they're terrible.
And why do you say that?
They can't go, like, anywhere near, like, 100 miles off the coast.
They're
They're terrible. Like, they can't go to the...
Why
like,
is that?
They're just
bad at building
the ships.
things.
They're just not good at it yet.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean that little plastic toy that I have that says made in China is not going to last for 10 years?
It might.
No, I mean, pretty sure not, but
When
go
it's
ahead.
cheap, it won't last long.
That's why they steal so much intellectual property, because in a communist system, you don't really have a situation where people are good at building things because you're not incentivized to buildings because you're not allowed to get rich off of what you create.
Oh, damn, that's
Is
such
it
a
also
great
because
point.
you're supposed
They
to
suck.
also having a communist sort of like regime or whatever, they're not sharing ideas. It's basically this guy and this guy coming up with the ideas and that's it.
Well,
Is
it's
that
the
what it is?
incentive. You know, you create the next groundbreaking thing, then the government breaks into your house and takes the idea from you, so you're not exactly
what I'm
incentivized.
saying.
Can you imagine being an Elon, like if Elon was from China?
Yeah.
You never, it wouldn't be an Elon, it would be China.
You won't treat well.
or car
Look what happened to Jack Ma. He disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah, what happened to that guy?
Nobody knows.
Nobody, we know.
It's also like guys that came up with that build cars that run on water, and these people disappear.
Oh, they died.
Like in
Yeah.
a second.
They died.
But yeah, finish.
Yeah, so I love that. Brandon's like,
apologize.
no, Robert,
I do hear.
No, that's how we roll.
Okay,
here.
all right.
So they also, between the fall of 2021 and the fall of 2023, the U.S. has documented over, and I know you guys have been seeing this, we see their ships and everybody, all their airplanes, 180 instances of PLA, coercive and risky air intercepts against American aircraft. They buzzed one the other day. They fly close. Bro, they're not afraid of us. I know you're saying about the Navy, but they're not as scared.
I agree.
Another topic, psychological and alternative forms of warfare. China's continuing to develop its concept of three warfares comprised of psychological warfare, public opinion warfare, and legal warfare. Multi-dominion precision warfare, MDPW, which uses data collection and AI to assess weak points of the United States operational system with the intention to attack them with precision strikes. Mind you, they're not even hiding it. It's right there in front of you. So that's why I can't wait to get to you, Brandon. It currently possesses the ability to disrupt American natural gas pipelines for days or even weeks. That's a crazy assessment.
Terrifying.
They have plans for next generation intelligentized warfare, including attrition warfare by intelligent swarms, cross-domain mobile warfare, AI-based space confrontation, and cognitive control operations. Economics, dude, this list, it's insane.
Cognitive control? Is that mind control?
I think that's mind control.
Awesome.
Yeah, cognitive control. I might have said it too fast. China's intensifying its preparations for total financial technological independence due to Western sanctions placed on Russia. China has become a willing buyer of Russian energy exports to prop up the nation as it deals with Western sanctions, and it sees that Russia's presence is felt as a multilateral organization. And the last, international relations, the PRC said that the 20th Party Congressional Political Work Report that times of turbulent international climate are on the way. Weird that Gavin Newsom goes over there. Weird to talk about climate.
100%.
Mind you, how bad is China's carbon footprint?
I'd say they literally are the worst. Maybe India.
Maybe India?
is putting in a good fight.
But for them to be like, this is the turbulent climate, you're the problem,
Yeah.
China.
Yeah, they are.
So they instigate all other, dude, it's socially and culturally, like this goes on and on, but this is why, and going to my main point, by the way, I could have kept going, that thing is just, there's so much in there and it's so freaking scary that this is why I think one of the main reasons Donald Trump was such a threat to the establishment, because he knew what China was and wanted to hold them accountable. Okay, on all fronts. Think about it. What was the first thing he said when he came in, Brandon? No trade, no more of this trade stuff. He holds them accountable with trade.
Tariffs.
Tariffs, intellectual property theft, the stuff that you guys are talking about.
Yep.
He tried to ban TikTok, and guess what China said? No, no. That's not.
That's our game plan.
That's not. And then all of a sudden, and mind you, I'm not using the C word. These are just things that happen in a row that I just go, dude, it almost seems like a communist country that treats its citizens like crap, that has freaking slave labor camps. Okay, they treat people like complete garbage. They're not on the humanitarian scale. They're trash. Like, I can give two shits about China. That doesn't mean you're racist. If you say you don't like China, fuck. Everybody always talks crap about the United States. I'm not a fan of them, the leader, the whole kit and caboodle. But anyway, it's just odd to me and a coincidence that this guy that's finally holding this superpower accountable, a virus during his election year, comes out of a lab that we own with Dr. Fauci, that little rat, which I just found out that, did you find out he was running a lab in California or somewhere and they got sent Wuhan the coronavirus? We'll get into that later.
Jesus.
And to this day, when did COVID happen? 4 years?
2022.
4 years ago? Yeah. Guess what? Zero accountability. You know what that means? They can do whatever they want. Okay? Now one has to ask, why would our government let all this happen, Brandon? Why let the balloons fly around? Why let them buy land? Why let them get away with COVID? Why let the whys? I could sit here and why all day. Why would they let one of our greatest adversaries walk around with impunity and have zero consequences? Okay, and I'm going to ask that, and why they sell out? Why do all these people in power, Rob, and government? I'm sorry, guys, I'm talking long, but I'm going to give you guys the floor. Were they compromised, like with immunity? Like, if they're going to take over, which it seems like it's going to happen, they're planning it for 2049, or is it their promised riches when it goes down, which that never is the case, I mean, they never pay you back, or are they compromised? And I say this, I saw a video that Kelly's going to play right now, a video of General Michael Flynn. He was recently on a podcast, and he mentioned something about people in Congress and the House and them being compromised. I want to show you guys this clip, and I want to hear your reaction. Kelly, go ahead.
We have the House of Representatives right now is totally, completely broken, and they're totally owned by the corporate lobbyists, and frankly by the globalists who own many of these people because they've been compromised by on some of these what they call Codell trips overseas, where these members of both the House and the Senate get compromised by sleeping with children, and they compromise. And these are real things. These are very real things. They get them caught up in the world of big bucks, big money.
So my point, and Rob, I'm going to go to you, then I'm going to go around to everybody. Yeah. So Rob, you see what they're doing. They've laid out their plan. The government spends $200,000 a year to basically tell us, warn us, here, guys, they are coming. Why do you think we are treating it as if it's nothing, and then why do we bow down to them? Is it a compromise situation, you think? Or is it that we're in on the plan and we're down like Rome, like we're going to fall regardless?
Yeah, I think it could go either way. So I think there's definitely compromise at every level. I think, the Chinese system, they are fantastic at, turning people. I think you look at like Dianne Feinstein. Okay, so when she was, I guess God rest her soul, when she was running San Francisco in that district, I think her assistant, if I'm not mistaken, or her EA, was a Chinese spy.
I remember.
So, and she is on the Foreign Intelligence Committee, and pretty much the ranking member of our intelligence service.
Yeah, and
so,
what's his name? And Rob, not to cut you off, what's his name too? Swalwell? He was dating a
small
Russian spy too.
Yeah,
Fang.
all of California.
Yeah, no shit. Looking like that guy.
So all over Silicon Valley and like some of the most important parts to our technological infrastructure was, you know, probably getting leaked through those offices.
Oh my
because
God.
they had access to all that. So they're very good at compromising. I also think I would counter your point too a little bit too.
Go ahead.
Okay,
I love counters.
As much as they are scary, they have a lot of influence and they know how to turn people. I also think that their demographics are absolutely collapsing. I think they're screwed.
You think China, meaning as a whole, as a nation as a whole?
Yeah, I
and
think.
Why would you? What's your?
Okay.
What would you say is your basis for that?
Okay, so during the One China policy, they essentially were only allowing boys to be born, right? So.
Meaning, Rob, if you had a female, what happened to it? They killed it?
It's either it was never born, or
my God. Okay. Okay.
you know, there's a bunch of different ways that they handled it,
Gotcha.
or they put them up for adoption and sent them out to other countries.
Okay.
It was one of the most horrific policies ever imposed on a society. Period.
Jeez.
Full stop. But now you have the repercussions of that. Is that now their entire generation that's supposed to be, you know, they're consumers. So we have, as millennials, we're consumers, and we basically make sure our economy stays afloat for the baby boomers.
Yeah.
We replace the baby boomers. They do not have a replacement to their baby boomer generation.
Wow.
So their demographics are collapsing so bad that they won't have there's basically so many old people in China that they have to take care of their grandparents. They have to do all this stuff. They're screwed. Their economy is going to collapse. So as much as I'm worried about China, and I was the last 10 years, they also were lying about their population. They were lying about their demographics, and now it's starting to come out that they miscounted by 100 million population.
Jeez.
And that's a huge number.
You think?
No, that was the young people too. They miscounted. Not even the old people. They miscounted like age 20 to 30 or something like that.
Miscounted or purposely?
No,
fudged the numbers,
purposely. They were trying to project that out like they're stronger than what they actually are.
Yeah.
So is this document right? I think it's probably saying exactly what their strategy is. Are they going to be able to pull it off? I think they're going to run into problems where their economy collapses, and this plan goes to hell.
And what do you think about the Trump phenomenon where he was in there and he was just like, the hell with you guys, held them accountable? You think that this was like a purpose?
Oh yeah,
going after him?
Yeah, 100%. There's no way that China loved Trump.
Not
There's like a 0 point donut hole, 0% chance that they like Trump.
When they found out, Rob, like when they were watching, I'm pretty sure Xi Jinping was like,
he was like, no.
He was not happy.
No, he was not a fan.
Well, yeah, so, yeah. Well,
and we were tough enough on trade that I think, well, really, actually, you probably want to give credit to Lighthouse, because Lighthouse was the one who was not the ambassador, but the trade
czar.
Yeah,
our guy?
basically with China. He's tough. Robert Lighthouse.
Robert Lighthouse.
Yeah, he was a badass, and he was really tough. He imposing Trump's not sanctions, but
whatever his policies
tariffs.
were.
Tariffs.
He wanted us. He put us first.
Yeah.
And that's not good when these people, like, everything here is China. Everything in here is freaking from China.
It is.
It's ridiculous. Tyler, what do you think?
As far as when it comes to the collapsing and what they put out there, I actually do feel that China they promote something different to the world than what is reality, and eventually that'll come to the rooster will come home to roost. That's what the saying is.
I love that saying.
I do feel though that as far as like their influence from like social media and when it comes to what we absorb, they're very influential. I mean, remember the NBA situation where like they couldn't speak out against China? So whether or not be from just an economical standpoint, from an influence standpoint on the way we think here in America, I think they've done a fantastic job as far as influencing kids. You mentioned TikTok earlier when it comes to what are we paying attention to. So a lot of their strategy, whether it works or not, it is crumbling inside of America. I think it has a large impact on our children, our MBAs, like our large sports teams, the way we think. You think the Communist Manifesto, #1 is like abolish private property. It's abolish the nuclear family. A lot of those things that they've brought over here is corroding America from the inside out. So as far as influence, I think they're doing a fantastic job.
Brandon, I love it because Brandon looks like he's about to jump out of his loafers. What's up?
Yeah, so to start, notice how all the things you said are things that are very much within our control, as far as, you know, the TikTok, the fentanyl, the letting them buy land here. Those are all very much things that are within our control to stop. And
America, as a government, as a people.
And and this is like the biggest thing that turned me off from the idea of working for the American government is that I quickly saw that one of our biggest threats is the group of people inside the American government and the political system that's seems to be working to, dismantle America and weaken it to the point where it could be part of this, one world government situation, because that's unobtainable right now for the people who are working towards the one world government, because America is too strong and independent and separate from this system to be dragged into that. But as far as it goes with China, so 100% true with the demographics thing, it's a massive problem. I think they have like double the amount of 50 to 80-year-olds as they do, I think 20 to 40-year-olds. Something.
Double?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And they have twice as many 10-year-olds as 5-year-olds now, so the problem's compounding. Yeah.
Wow.
So less and less people are having kids, and now their real estate. So check this out. So they have enough empty houses in China to house the entire population twice.
And
Of China?
Yeah.
And nobody, why?
You know why?
They're called ghost cities.
Because that's what's fueled their economy for the last 30 years. So it's the biggest asset class in the world, the Chinese real estate market. It's like 25 trillion or something, but it's all, house of cards BS.
Yeah,
so they literally just do it to fuel the economy, pay for jobs. They just build these buildings. And
then nobody's in them.
Nobody lives in them.
That's what happens when the government makes a bunch of jobs. We're going to employ all of you and make jobs. Well, who's paying for it? And like, what is actually the job and the purpose?
Oh my gosh, so that's the government spending the money on itself, on the people. Like,
yeah, and
they're helping them.
Yeah.
It's the only thing people are comfortable investing in, because you're not allowed to own crypto there. The stock market's unreliable, so people just pour money to the real estate market, and they'd rather just own an empty house than anything else. So that's why there's this demand for these empty houses that people just hold on to. So
that's insane.
Yeah. Who was the Chinese real estate firm that just collapsed, or like basically
Country
defaulted?
Garden. It was the biggest one.
And
what size was it? What was the default payment? It was monster.
25 million.
Yeah, they couldn't even make a $25 million payment. Like, it was something stupid.
That goes back to like their fundamentals and their principles. They live off a communist system, which is all on the government, is all lies. You can't trust it. And when you talked about the population, Yamni Park speaks about, like, obviously her story coming from North Korea to China, or being sold into China. That created more than just the situation with men and women economically. It also created a huge slave trade, because all these men didn't have women.
Yep.
They obviously, biology, they're attracted and looking for that. So what did they do? They would buy women from North Korea, and they would be sold into a slave trade. So there's more than just the economics, although that plays a big role. There's influence. Then there's just like the humanitarian crisis and what they do.
Well, they don't talk about the Uyghur. They don't talk about the Uyghur camps too. They're still going on.
Oh no,
It's still going on, and they're making money off of that too, off of women, off of children, off women's hair. They're selling it to the United States. They're selling it everywhere, and no one's talking about that either. No. That's also putting money into their economy. But like you said with the ghost cities and stuff like that, that's terrifying, because there's those structures that no one's using.
Well, it's not. It's terrifying for them, not for us. Because
why are they so influential then?
They're not.
Okay, so that would be my question to the two of you, because like they're afraid to speak out against China.
Well,
so why?
Because either they have blackmailing people, or like the NBA, for example. So the NBA took a contract from Tencent, the Chinese media company. It was a big contract for the NBA, so they were making a lot of money from that. So that's why they were afraid to speak out. So they do have a lot of money to throw around, but that's all going to be much less money when this real estate bubble bursts. And it's going to burst pretty soon, because deflation officially set in, where their economy is shrinking now.
When's the prediction? When's really soon?
I think they're going to be a district of like 5 principalities in the next 20. But that's their 2050 plan. They're going to be 5 different principalities that used to be the Empire of China. Because
really,
yeah.
So
dude, there's going to be a revolution in China in like the next 5 to 10 years.
They need war. I'm sorry to cut you off. They need war.
No, I want to get. We got 2 minutes, but I want to get to you, because we got to move on. But wait, so you're saying, Brandon, not to cut you off, that you're saying revolution, meaning the people of a communist place are going to finally go. How many communist places do we have right now? China? Who else? Do we have any communists?
China, Cuba.
Cuba's still communist.
Russia, Venezuela.
California.
Like,
For real.
At what point, Brandon, do the people, like, when is enough?
Well, they can't eat. And this is another thing that we have China by the balls with too, is that they are super dependent on food imports, oil imports, because they don't have enough of it to feed their own country. And like we basically gave China express permission to be the manufacturer for America. That's what we did in the 70s. We wanted to split them and Russia from being allies. So we're like, all right, China, here, we'll let you get rich. We'll pay for you to build all of our shit. So we did that. They got rich. We let them in the World Trade Organization in the 90s. And, you know, they made a lot of money off of that. But now their labor is not nearly as cheap as it was before. And a lot of the manufacturing is going to Mexico now. And they're not capable of building the advanced microchips that they need for everything, basically. And even Biden's not letting American investment money go into there. He's not letting the companies that can build that stuff send it there. So we're like bleeding them out in all different ways.
And the iPhone too, the iPhone situation, right?
Yeah.
They're making them in India.
Yeah.
So they're on the decline, right?
Yeah.
Brandon, what else you got?
So their youth unemployment rate's 25%.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
The hell are they doing?
Not good.
Just sitting at home.
A lot of kids that are pissed. Yeah.
Smoking cigs.
And Xi, Xi is completely isolated from his supporting cast. Everybody's afraid to give him accurate information. He's like, imagine all the decisions in the government run through him, so he doesn't delegate things. People are afraid to tell him the truth.
It's just him.
Yeah, so that's not a sustainable situation. There's rumors that people want to whack him. So.
Oh my God, well, dude. So the difference between him and like a Kim Jong-un, is it pretty much?
Well, no, he's like looked at as like a god there because he was like
He's the guy because the family, the bloodline. Yeah, dude.
But Xi they were kind of like a normal system before Xi came along. He's trying to change it.
He's trying to change it. Well, I mean, I hope it gets. I mean, I don't hope that they starve, but bro, I am the biggest fan of revolution and change. And it's like, at what point do you say enough is enough? And like, guess what? These camps where our families are in there and working, we're shutting this shit. We're gonna go get them.
Yeah.
We're shutting this whole shit down. It's only a matter of time, you think, till they get rid of them?
Yeah, no, because I mean, maybe they'll revolt, or maybe things will get so bad that they revolt because it's like deflation set in now, like I said, and that's a compounding problem. Like people are spending less money because they're expecting prices to go down, so businesses are laying people off, having to drop prices, and ultimately, they're afraid to get involved in this Russia thing because, like I said, they're dependent on food imports, they're dependent on oil imports, and they're completely landlocked. So, they have not jungle to their south, Himalayas to their west, like desert to the north. So, and look what's to the off the coast of all of our allies. Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines, our Navy bases. So we could cut them off in a second.
So you're saying that even though the military security development that they did on China, it's not as big as a threat that we shouldn't be worried as much. No. Cut to next week, China's just on our shores like, I'm like, Brandon, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. They can't even invade Taiwan.
Yeah, I mean, well, because everybody's watching them. Well, everybody will get involved if they do mess around with Taiwan.
No, I swear to God, if nobody helped Taiwan, I don't think they could invade Taiwan based off of what I've seen. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah. I appreciate you, Brandon. So basically, listen, you didn't change my mind, but you made me think on another side of the coin.
American government's our biggest threat, in my opinion.
I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. All right. Okay. Well, we went to. So I'm going to go to Robert first. Right, Cal?
Yep.
Robert.
Okay.
The brand new unusual.
First guy up.
The brains of Valuetainment.
You're going to be talking about. This is Canada finds the SV40 in vaccines that are causing the rise in turbo cancer. Please school us and let me know why I'm happy that I'm not vaxxed and I'm never going to Canada.
Pure bloods.
Yeah, I am a pure blood.
Yeah. And I take no pleasure in talking about this stuff too, because the last thing you want to do is find out that there's fraud, that there's something going wrong with a medical treatment that was sent out to millions of people throughout the world, people that we all love, people that we all care about. So it's not that this is a happy subject, but kind of what's going on right now is that Health Canada, an organization that sent out a report that was picked up by Epoch Times, or Epic Times, however you want to say it.
Whatever, I like Epoch.
I think the cool kids say it a certain way. I'm not sure which way to be the cool
Epoch.
Yeah.
Could be either one.
I'm dyslexic.
Basically said that Pfizer vaccine that was sent out everywhere has the SV40
virus
antigen in it.
Okay.
So what is that? Okay. So we got to go through a little history here, and,
Let's do it.
I'll make it sort of quick. I'll abbreviate some of this. So back in the let's say the 40s, when we had the polio vaccine, there was a serious problem. Sorry, it was the 50s. With the polio vaccine. It had an SV40 in it, and they started showing that this virus, when injected into mice, would create tumors. And there was a massive uptick. If you look at, you go back into the history cancer was not as prevalent. Now, some people will say that's because it wasn't diagnosed the same way. Others would say they can kind of point to the polio vaccine going out, and everybody got the polio vaccine.
Yeah.
And cancer just skyrocketed all over the world, or really the Western world.
In the 50s.
Yeah.
Just started going.
Yeah, even earlier, actually, when they started with the, I actually don't know the exact date of the polio vaccine. I have to double check. But it was the Salk polio vaccine.
Okay.
Particular one. So this virus has been tied to people getting cancer. Okay. So now, fast forward, and we're being told that this SV40 virus is being found inside of the Pfizer vaccine.
Oh, great.
This is not a good sign. Okay, so right now, and we'll play a video here in a second, if you can cue that up for us, Kelly, that you have another oncologist in Canada who's basically looking at a skyrocketing of people in their 20s, 30s, 40s.
In Canada.
All over the world, but particularly in Canada, because he's studying in Canada. He's diagnosed upwards of 20,000 people with cancer.
Gotcha.
In his career, so he knows how cancer acts, what's abnormal, what's normal. Mm-hmm. And what he's starting to see is these 20, 30, 40-year-olds, healthy people, doctors, people that are taking care of themselves, that have been vaccinated, are getting these, they're calling it on the internet, it's kind of a phenomenon called turbo cancers. Where you're 20, 30 years old, all of a sudden you're diagnosed with a cancer, but it's not stage 1, it's stage 4. It's all the way into stage 4.
Right.
Some people are dying within days of diagnosis. Some people are dying.
Sounds like Ebola.
No, it's horrible.
Straight up.
Within a year, people are dying.
Robin, this is like, is it a new Pfizer vaccine, or this is the vaccine that Pfizer rolled out?
This is the vaccine that everybody got.
This is the vaccine that everybody got that's from Pfizer, and it's happening in Canada. Well, I mean, this guy found it in Canada, but what he's saying is this is a global phenomenon.
This was sent out everywhere.
So you want us to see this?
Yeah, let's take a look at this oncologist in Canada who's talking about basically what he's seeing in practice.
All right, let's watch it, then we'll react.
There are only a handful out of the 100,000 doctors, Canadian doctors, that didn't take the vaccine. That are still practicing medicine. So it's something like 99.9% vaccination rate. And they were the first ones to line up for their vaccines. Well, as I started looking at the sudden deaths of Canadian doctors, I realized, yes, most of them are dying from cardiac issues, heart injuries, cardiac arrests, dying while jogging or swimming, dying in their sleep. And Dr. Peter McCullough has talked about this extensively, about the myocarditis and the damage to the heart, the scarring to the heart. And then some were dying from blood clots, pulmonary emboli, strokes. But then there was quite a large subset of doctors who were developing extremely aggressive cancers. Jeez. And cancers at an age that they shouldn't be getting. So, for example, there was a doctor who developed gastric cancer in his 30s. Presented at stage 4, he was dead in less than a year. Jeez. Very rare brain cancers in young individuals in their 20s and 30s, medical students, medical residents. And these cancers would always present at stage 4, and they would always kill them in a matter of a few months, and it was always less than a year. And, at first I didn't know, what the term for this was or what the phenomenon was. I just started, really paying attention to it, tracking it. I then, realized that this is being called turbo cancer by people on social media. Turbo cancer is not a medical term, but it's a term that people came up with to really describe the extremely aggressive nature of these cancers in the COVID vaccinated. And these cancers behave completely differently, unlike anything I've seen before in my career. And I've diagnosed over 20,000 cancer patients in my career with cutting-edge PET-CT, positron emission tomography imaging, CT, MRI, pathological correlation. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen stage 4 breast cancers presenting in women in their 20s. Jeez. I've never seen stage 4 colon cancers presenting in men and women in their 20s, 30s. Leukemias that will kill you in a matter of days or even hours after diagnosis.
Days or hours?
These leukemias are
lymphomas
so aggressive.
That, again, kill you in a matter of months.
Yeah. Is this unprecedented, like this type of cancer?
We've never, ever, period, seen anything like this.
So Rob, my question. Is this all a setup? Is Is it blatant ignorance of we just had to get something out there and we wanted to do it, which I do not believe in? Or it's Bill Gates and all these demons going, no, this is it, trust us, every media company, everybody was pushing this thing on late night shows. They were dancing on, who was that loser?
Yeah, no, Stephen Colbert.
Stephen Colbert, that freaking unfunny loser, pushing this thing on people, and the narrative was, if you don't get it, you're un-American, you don't care about your family.
Schwarzenegger said it.
Don't even start me with that piece of shit. Like,
totally.
So Rob, what do you think, this was a concerted effort, or it was ignorance on science and it came out like that?
I'd have a hard time believing that, or even justifying that this was somehow a mistake of fraud, that it was happened because we had to do this quickly. So I can't say that, because a lot of these vaccines were in pre-development. Moderna was a company that was developing these vaccines years. They had the patent on these years before COVID-19 came out. Okay, so they were working on these vaccines already. So the reality is that if they were working on this for a while, they know that they were putting these types of accelerants, which are the SV40 that we're talking about right now. They put this in to accelerate the process of, actually, I would probably screw up the actual explanation of it, but for the most part, they're putting this in to help the transcription of the DNA. Okay, so to help with these spike proteins. So my best estimation right now is that, first off, it makes my blood boil, and it's really hard to watch people die. And suffer the way they're suffering in their 20s, their 30s, they're at the prime of their lives. And then on top of that, we were all lied to. We were told this was safe, effective. I didn't trust a damn thing. But I can totally understand why some people would. If your doctor tells you to take this, I would trust it.
Of course. Why would he want to lie to you unless he's trying to sell a product? And poor, like Kelly, she's one of our production people. She told me right before this, she's like, I took the Pfizer. Why were you telling the story? She's like, I took it. Like, you don't think I'm concerned that my friend has this shit in her body and hope to God that it doesn't give her turbo freaking cancer?
People's jobs are threatened. If you don't take it, you're gonna get fired.
Livelihoods. What do you mean? Like, the whole situation. It's like, dude, the hell with shame on them. And like, dude, you're saying your blood's boiled, Rob? I'm telling you right now, bro, this pisses me off so much that these rats like Fauci and all them, they need to be held accountable to the highest extent of the law, bro. F the law. Yeah. Like, that's unbelievable, bro.
Is there anything that this ties to shedding? Could this be a bigger problem than what you've just told us? Because could that be a possibility?
Yeah.
And do you know much about shedding? You've heard about shedding.
Shedding like dogs?
Like viral shedding.
Viral shedding.
The hell's that?
Like, say you hook up with someone and they got the shot, something like that. You suddenly share fluid, stuff like that. No, it's not.
I've never heard of it, but
yeah, viral shedding is a real thing, and it can happen from. They're saying it happens with the vaccines. A lot of these vaccines also, the spike proteins that were created in here in order to have an immune response to keep you from getting severe COVID are being passed through breast milk. So babies are getting it passed on. It's going through generations. It's altering DNA. Can this be a widespread problem where a lot of us? It's possible, but I don't know enough about viral shedding to tell you that if you hugged somebody and went skin-to-skin contact or whatnot. But I don't know.
And I'm gonna go right to you, Taylor. Do you think, Robert, they did this because of something like the Bill Gates, all these guys that pushed it on us? Is it because of a population control?
George Guidestones.
Exactly. If you want to get to that point, is it because they're trying to control our population and just kill all these people and just say the hell with it, let them die? Who gives a shit?
Well, what did we talk about earlier in the podcast? We were talking about how China had a one child policy.
Boy.
Okay, so this is not the first time that the powers that be or governments or systems have instituted ideas saying, or policies saying, that we are overpopulated and they need to control population.
Taylor,
would it freak me? Would I be like totally surprised if this was a real thing and they were doing it to control population? No, I would not be surprised. But can I tell you that's exactly what's going on? No, I can't tell you that. But I would say this, that if that is the case, you're going to see a lot of people with reproductive issues, and you're already starting to see it. You're already starting to see it in women, where it's building up in their ovaries as well too.
Yeah, and I think on that point, I would probably lean towards the way of a population control. For one, it was mandated and it was rushed. So why? And if you read like the Population Bomb by Paul Ehrlich, I believe, like Dr. Paul Ehrlich years ago, he talks about obviously there's only two ways to control population. Either birth when it comes or death. And so if you have birth control, back in the, I don't know if you guys knew this, but back in the United States, we actually used to have laws of sterilization, like forced sterilization in the US. And so there was sterilization, we have birth control, that controls the population as far as birth, and then death. You can't, obviously there's laws against just killing people, so there has to be other ways. And so when it comes to this, and Candace Owens did a really interesting podcast with Dr. Malone, and she talks about the polio vaccine, which is tied to this because you mentioned that SV40 was a part of that. And she shares that we're always like, oh, polio was what would be the word? Like taken off the record, or how would you say? Exacerbated.
It's been like, oh, it's off the map.
Yeah, it's off the map. And she's like, well, do you know how many people actually had polio during this time? It wasn't that many people. So there wasn't that many people that were affected by it. So the fact that when they rolled this out, the percentage that was saved, and you can go to the interview to get the actual details, there was, like, he guessed hundreds of thousands of people had polio. That wasn't even the case. Like, it was a very small number. So when they said there was a 99% survival rate, well, not that many people had it, and it wasn't as deadly as they saw, but they used those numbers, they critiqued them to then roll out this vaccine. And then from there, that was mandated. And at the time, vaccines, there was probably only a handful. You could count them on two hands. Now, how many vaccines are they projecting onto children and people? And this one, like you said, was mandated. You had to have it to work. You had to have it to all of these things. Thankfully, I called bullshit on it too. I was like, this is crazy. My family thought I was crazy, and now I'm like,
and it makes and I'm gonna go to you, Brandon.
I have one more thought on that.
No, go ahead.
My question to that too is like, are people going to be held accountable? Like when you think of the tribunals that they did for World War II and
the war crime people.
Yeah, I mean, 23 German physicians were held for crimes against humanity, and they were charged with murders, tortures, and other atrocities that were committed in the name of medical science. So I would be very curious, like, people should be held accountable for this. Like, these young children and so many people, or teens, midlife, or just anyone in general that are affected by this, there should be a level of accountability. And with that accountability, to actually get the truth out, because as Winston Churchill says, history is written by the victors. So if we don't bring this to light, no one will ever know, and then it'll be like, oh, a few years later, the same thing happens again.
Well, look what they were doing during the height of the pandemic, when people were starting to ask questions, when doctors like Peter McCullough and Dr. Malone were like, hey, mind you, the top professionals in this field, Malone basically created mRN1, and they silenced, guys, I got goosebumps. They silenced the #1 doctor, Brady, because they were like,
they took him
you
off
shut the hell,
every platform.
Like, how dare you speak to save these people, to let them know what the hell's going on when we're trying to make $1 trillion, you piece of shit.
Satanic.
That's the mentality of that. And Taylor, it's sad to say, there will be zero accountability. All we're going to keep seeing is people like that little rat, Dr. Tony Fauci, going in front of Congress with an attitude, mind you. Rand Paul's the only one that actually kind of went back to him. He's like, excuse me, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yes, the hell they do. Okay, we all know that you were a rat.
What can we do to make sure they're held accountable, though? Because it's like, it
go to their houses, take them out of their house.
Happening, you know?
Taylor, it's sad.
You have to change Congress, but
listen, guys.
We need Brandon for president.
The biggest reason they won't be held accountable on paper is because in the 80s they made a law where even if they blatantly know that there's something that are going to kill you, they can't be liable for it.
Yeah, which is absolutely, Brandon.
So I mean, that's a Congress law.
So it is a congressional law, but okay. So the weird axiom here is that the people that are going to be able to save us are the lawyers. Okay, so that's kind of messed up.
Oh my God! I can't believe you
the
said
only
that.
way this is going to happen is if we have it in the courts and we're able to pierce the corporate veil. Essentially be able to show that either A, our government was at fault for not regulating this, or that the drug companies, your Pfizer, didn't properly disclose this, and there wasn't informed consent.
There wasn't even proper testing.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was speed. It's like...
But what do you do when the judges are compromised too and the lawyers are compromised? Where do you turn? I'll tell you where you turn. You go to their houses and you rip them out of the houses.
You know, I'm telling you right now, I know it sounds crazy, but listen, Maxine Waters, Cory Booker, Cory Booker, and a couple of other politicians. Remember when Trump, they were like, you get in their faces. When you see them at department stores and you, guess what? Nobody's going to save them. It's up to us to hold them accountable, bro. No, dead serious. The government, guys, enough is enough. Fauci's been a bureaucrat for all these freaking years. He's been under how many presidents? 7 presidents. He's
highest paid one, too, I believe, at one point.
He's a freaking demon bureaucrat, and he's literally getting away with murder every single day. And Kelly made a good point. Kelly even messaged me too. How many? You have to keep taking this vaccine. How long does it last? Does it just last forever? Is it in you
forever?
Forever? Do you have to keep getting a new one every year? And it's like, is there any safe? Is there any way to actually help somebody like her, who has that Pfizer shot in her? Is there a way to? Is it too late to try to get some of this shit out? Or I have no idea.
So they're Dr. and I'm not a doctor, so don't take my advice here. But the Dr. McCullough, I believe, has a protocol. You can go onto his website. I don't know what it is exactly off the top of my head. I'm sure we can find it. He has a protocol of some things you can take over the counter that help detox out
Kelly, we're taking
what was given in. Yeah, it's a.
She's Googling. She's literally.
She's like, I got this.
Yeah, it's like brolamine. There's a couple of different things you got to take to kind of ease the inflammation and help push some of this out of your system.
Last question. Yeah. Now that this is out, Brady, this is out. The information is out. You cannot deny it. It's factual. It's in front of our face. He has all the cases. He has the numbers, the stats. Are they going to stop administering this Pfizer bullshit vaccine? Or is because mind you, I remember the Pfizer guy that was like, we have all these millions of vaccines. Nobody took them. Nobody's taking them. What happens, Rob? Do they stop shop?
I mean, two-parter. I mean, you've got one here where I think 1%, 2% of the people that originally took the vaccine are still taking boosters. So people are catching on.
And are they going to continue doing that? You studied psychology and all that. Yeah. Are we going to, is this going to be a cyclical cycle that a few years later or even right now, they can do it again and again?
This is a playbook. They can boot this up, I think, at any time with the next threat. As long as the next threat is scary enough and people are afraid and they're, you can just turn off the neocortex in the brain and the higher order thinking and go back into fear and turn people into making poor decisions. That's one part. Although one thing I got to give a shout out, and this is coming up on December the 6th, the one guy who has been extremely successful at suing, pharmaceutical companies is Bobby Kennedy.
Good.
Yeah. And he will be coming to Valuetainment for a live event on December the 6th.
December 6th, he's going to be here at the live event. The tickets sold out yet?
Yeah, no, tickets just went on sale. So go to 5990live.com and you can come to Valuetainment Studios and check out our live. Come hang out in the cigar lounge afterwards and maybe meet Bobby. And get to know. But that's a guy who has been successful at going after drug companies. Good. It's possible.
It is possible.
It's possible.
And I hope. And Pat taught me.
There's hope.
I didn't have any. Have hope, have faith. Because at the end of the day, I know God is going to take care of everybody that's doing this negative stuff with vaccines or children or trafficking. God always will win at the end. It's just. Right now, I want it to be seen. I want the results.
You want to be alive when it happens.
I want to see it.
It's like karma.
Yeah, and God will win, but thankfully for Valuetainment, Patrick Bet-David, people like RFK that are willing to put their neck on the line and really fight for these things, and we need more of it and people to speak up, because the more people are afraid to speak up because of loss of jobs or anything like that, have hope that if you speak up and something does happen to you, you're going to be, God is going to not only give you blessings, but far beyond what your risk was. And so more people need to speak up. And when the facts come out, we can't shy away from them. We have to shine light.
Thank you, Elon Musk, for buying Twitter to letting it do. Yeah. If it wasn't for Elon Musk, that video, you would never have seen that video.
You would never have seen it.
So thank you, Elon. All right, guys, we have to move on. Brandon, Mr. Secret. What was your master's?
National Security.
National Security. This freaking smart guy over here.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, you're going to tell us about the CIA firm In-Q-Tel and how they're trying to influence big tech. Brandon, teach us.
Yeah, so I brought up this one specifically because me and Rob have talked about this a lot. And
you were a maniac?
Yeah. So I'm excited for this one. So
take it away, boys.
In-Q-Tel, it It was a venture capitalist firm that was started in 1999 by the CIA because, you know, the dot-com bubble was happening. And similar to the China thing, the CIA is not capable of, like, keeping up with the private sector and creating technology that's on the equal playing field because, you know, they're government overlord people who are trying to do things for, like, a monitored, you know, security type of way. They're not trying to create the best products. So they started this fund or this firm that would just invest money into blossoming technology companies to try to, you know, get some influence over it and be a part of it and steer the direction of where it goes potentially. And, you know, they got involved in operations like Google Earth, Palantir, so like a data collection company.
In there for Google?
Yeah.
Oh, so they know where everybody lives and where everybody's...
The Keylock program.
Yeah.
And similar to what DARPA did with LifeLog and Facebook, and this is something that Rob knows a lot about. So,
listen, do you know this story about LifeLog?
No.
But I want to hear it now.
Okay, this is
Can you
messed
school the
up.
people on what is LifeLog real quick? For people that don't know.
So LifeLog was a program that was developed by DARPA. Okay, and if you don't know who DARPA is, it's a government agency that works on research, particularly for the Defense Department.
Gotcha.
And LifeLog is basically what we now call Facebook. It was basically the creation of Facebook by the government. They created the source code, they built it, they figured, okay, listen, how do we deploy this to the population and I'll have them give up all their information willingly. We don't even have to ask for it. It makes the surveillance state way easier. So then, hence, at DARPA at that time, who was running it or who was helping with the project, one of the PMs was Sheryl Sandberg. Who's Sheryl Sandberg? Sheryl Sandberg, pretty well known. She's was she the CMO, COO of Facebook?
Yeah.
Of Facebook.
Yeah.
And this is pre-Facebook.
Oh yeah, this is pre-Facebook.
Holy,
This is
so-
developed by DARPA first, then deployed out. Okay, so did Mark Zuckerberg, was he the evil genius behind all this? I would think
maybe,
not.
So Rob, maybe they were like, so wait, what you're saying is maybe the government's like, hey, listen,
find
make
a
this look
dork.
cool,
Yeah.
put it in colleges, let people, because I mean, dude, the CIA must worship him because we gave up our security. Everybody, especially during Obama, was like, I don't want them spying. And now it's almost like, why didn't you post where you were yesterday? Why didn't you post pictures of you? Facebook is your life is on there. My sister, I haven't talked to her in 2 days. I know exactly where she is, what she's eating, what she's wearing, and who she's with.
Just look at the word life log. It's a log of what's going on in
your
your life.
life.
Yeah. So just if you want to be able to, you know, chart somebody where their geolocation is at all times, who they're interacting with, who they're next to, you can listen in on phones. I mean, it's about the most perfect system you could put together to surveil a population.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you guys with that, but I want you to continue your point, and then my question will come back to it.
No, so I was going to go in the direction of, you know, obviously there's an argument of this from like national security standpoint, like they're getting ahead of these things so that, you know, some wild card doesn't create the next quantum computer and, you know, have like more power than anybody else or whatever. But there's also the domestic surveillance side of it. So, like, where do you guys all fall in the sense of like understanding the POV of the CIA and like getting in on this, or do you look at it as like a, you know, bad thing that they're trying to have too much control or influence?
I mean, I could go both ways. So the reason why I would say that it's not a net bad thing is because there are extremely intelligent inventors out there that are developing things that have no business being in the hands of private citizens or of foreign governments that we don't trust, which is all of them. So, you know, if they're developing technologies that have implications on national security, I would want somebody paying attention to that. So if there's a private venture firm that is buying up these companies or seeding it and paying attention to, you know, how the technology is like being developed, I'm actually okay with that. That's not a bad thing. We should be watching what's going on. Especially with AI being rolled out right now, we've got a serious problem with, you know, the proliferation of it, and we can develop some crazy stuff really quick. It can get out of control. So some people need to be monitoring what's going on. But the inverse of that is, I don't think you can fit a cigarette paper in between a lot of the tech companies that are existing right now and our government. You know, it looks like a lot of them are private, but they all have back doors into Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, anyone you can mention, we have a back door into all of them because we are collecting data. We're finding out what's going on. It's our intelligence gathering. So we really are, you know, it's a chicken or the egg. You know, which one created it? What did the government create? The plan for it? Did private citizens? It doesn't really matter. Right now, it's turning into a private, you know, security grid that we're being monitored at all times? Is it a good idea that we're going to get into a system where we could be like China and have a social credit score? That's Black Mirror on the worst possible, and
they're doing it.
It couldn't get any worse than that.
I saw a video of China. Taylor, I'll go to you. I saw a video of China. The door's locked. There's this face scan, and you have to go put your face there. If you don't have enough money, if you don't make enough money, you can't go into the store. And I'm like,
they can even prevent you from flying. Like they can prevent you from buying flights with your credit score. And if you miss a bill, that like knocks your credit score. And then like, oh no, you're of a trip or you want to leave, you can't leave.
Oh my God! And they're dying, bro. They're dying to get us to that level.
Oh, they are.
That's why when I tell people all the time, like, if we just turned in our guns tomorrow, you don't think the government would grab that before you even said, hey, I'd like to? They're snatching it. And if once we give up on the cash and we say, listen, guys, you know what? We know what you guys are trying to do. Let's just do it. They would jump on it, Rob,
go for your guns, and then they're going to come for your kids.
That's it.
And that's not a joke.
They're already coming for the kids.
They're openly coming for the kids.
That's a whole other separate topic. But
my question would be, so it's like a VC firm that they put into other companies. So they've raised hundreds of millions of dollars. I think they said since 2018, like almost $500 million that has been within here, and they're investing in different companies. So my question would be, I don't know if I think it's probably inevitable when it comes to like surveillance. They have all our data. We have our phones on us 24/7. But when it comes to the government and these VC firms in private companies, is there such thing as a free market? Like, would we really consider it to be a free market? Because if you're that heavily influenced by the government, it's kind of juxtaposed the idea of what is a free market.
They are tipping the scales for sure.
Yeah, like it's like you'll notice like there isn't really a huge competitor to things like Facebook or like Twitter or anything like that. Once they come on, it's like they really have like the wind at their back from like it seems
Monopoly.
like an outside force.
And does the government then, when they're up there and they're like, we got to take down big tech, do they really want to? Or
Are you
like,
kidding me?
No.
what is
No.
the idea behind that?
Everything's a show. And the fact, and guys, this is what I do personally, because you're talking about the phones, and they're listening and they know everything, every phone call, even when it's off. So when I'm on the phone, every time before I hang up, I go, I know you guys are listening, you fucking nerds. And then I hang up. I know they are.
They are.
Somebody's listening. And you nailed it.
Yeah.
What do we, guys?
What do we do? I had I'm one of those people that like, duck, duck, go. Taylor, what is that? I try my best.
They're watching. They're watching that too.
They already know what you're going to do before you do it. It's like when you put tape on your computer.
That's my head, I would have that.
Guess what? Guess what? When you're doing that, they're looking at you through your phone.
What do you mean? My Roomba has a camera. That bitch is watching me all day.
AI is using it right now.
Well, and another thing with China, I heard the ones that are from, I think they're from China, they map your entire room through the Wi-Fi and they collect all your data through Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But hopefully Brandon's right and they're weak and they can't do anything.
Well, the only thing too is, and you mentioned Google, and I'm relatively certain, if I'm not misquoting this, that Sergey Brin and Google was also given a grant from In-Q-Tel. So our biggest tech company that pretty much exists, besides Apple, was also, In-Q-Tel had a hand in this as well too.
Did you know this little fun fact, Brandon, too? This is in the world of weirdness. You know Blackstone bought Ancestry.com?
Blackstone or BlackRock?
BlackRock, I'm sorry, BlackRock. They bought Ancestry.com.
Yeah, and everyone jumped
all
on
the DNA that people send in.
Weird. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
You just see that China, I was going to mention this before when you were talking about China. So one of the scary things that they're I think it just came out on Monday. They said that they were extremely concerned with foreign governments, I assume they're talking about us,
obviously,
that are investing in the ability for race-specific DNA weapons.
What
does that mean?
It means that they're going to develop a weapon that can target a specific race, a DNA, and take out that population.
What the hell?
That's insane.
Like I'm Middle Eastern. Like if it wanted to kill me, I'll just hear like, yeah. I'm like, what? You just hear salsa for Spanish people, and they all go to the salsa, and then they kill them.
But yeah, white people just hear Denny's and then.
Rob, but by the way, the technology of, like, I have a friend that's in the military, can't really mention a lot about him. The stuff that he's saying that's going on right now is, so, like, I'm like, he can't really tell me, but I'm just like, come on, like, I'm always trying to. And you know it's bad when a friend looks at you and it's this look.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah,
it's bad.
At this point, it's laughable that we don't have flying cars. I'm going off topic. I don't care.
No,
it's laughable that we don't have flying cars because we have the technology to do so much.
Of course.
And just to tie it back into what we're talking about, like the tape on the computer and everything, we have all this technology. I feel like they want a complete reset with everything, and then they'll start putting this stuff out. Don't you think?
Have you driven on the expressway? You want people flying their cars?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I'm like, I don't know about that.
Cue the music.
Yeah. All right, guys. Brandon, thank you for scaring the shit out of everybody.
Thank you, Brandon.
To Robert,
Anytime.
Taylor. Brady, we're going to go to a lighter subject that's not so freaking cerebral.
Jesus.
Speaking
of China, no, I'm joking. I don't know. You know what? I saw this story. And
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, as you know. No. Well, kind of. It's all right. I got it.
Wait, I'm just running away.
Yeah.
So, Dennis Rodman's cousin, Scottie Pippen. You're like, okay.
On a lighter note, let's just talk about heartbreak. No. I thought it was interesting because I'm always doing research for my show that's coming out called The Mouthpiece, but whatever, it's no big deal.
Okay, Matthews.
But I was looking up sports stories, and I saw this one that came across my feed, and it has to do with, yes, Michael Jordan, but it has to do with Marcus Jordan and Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. Her name's Larsa. She's
a Syrian.
Yes,
it's funny.
A Syrian.
It's weird.
So here's the thing. You're like, what's the big deal? Who cares, right? Well, Marcus Jordan is Michael Jordan's son, who's 32 years old. Larsa Pippen is 49.
She's 50.
Right?
Let's just say 50.
All right, she's 50.
Let's say 32 and 50.
She's 50. So the relationship dynamics are weird because one, Larsa was cheating on Scottie with Marcus Jordan.
While they were married?
Where they were married.
Oh.
How old was he then?
I don't know, 15?
Jeez.
Talk about rocking the cradle and talk about like one minute he's asking for a Gatorade, next minute he's asking for a phone number. You know what I mean?
what
Like,
the hell?
what is it?
Yeah.
Anyways, but good for him. But they, so
Solid.
listen, I mean, this topic is not huge, but it's also it's funny to me because it's like aesthetically it doesn't look good. Marcus Jordan has like this weird beard. He's got stupid glasses. He has a shoe company called Undefeated. I think. Don't quote me on it. I'm gonna get nailed by it.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely gonna go
I'm pretty sure. 100%. Whatever. Come at me.
Yeah.
But he's got a lot of money on his own, not just from his dad, but obviously his dad helped him out. Blah blah. Larsa has really not done a whole lot except for been on the Desperate Housewives. So, anyways, so the whole story, reason it boils down to is Marcus Jordan got interviewed recently, and they said to him, what does your dad think of this whole thing, right? And he said, the main thing for my dad was, you're a grown adult, Marcus Jordan said. Ultimately, as long as I'm happy, he's happy. And then he said, get that ass. No, I'm just joking. He didn't say
Oh, you had me. I'm like, damn, dude.
He said,
Hey,
MJ. You're happy. You're a grown adult. Do your thing. But the thing that was funny is they asked Marcus Jordan, don't you feel bad about the dynamics with Scottie Pippen going behind his back and all that stuff? And he goes, for the people that don't like it, kiss my ass.
That's Marcus said
That was
that?
his
Marcus
response?
said that. Yeah,
Oh,
that's what it
God.
said.
Wow.
And Lars was sitting there was like, you know, it's whatever. Like people are gonna hate and everything. It's all boils down to they want to do a show.
Is it? Or you think
it's a show.
This is the? You think they're doing this because of the show? Or
Yeah, I think if
well,
they're
she was
getting
hooking up with him for a while.
Yeah, but I think they're doing it for a reality show. It's the Real Housewives of Miami.
Oh,
because we
great.
need that. You know what I mean? Because there's not enough garbage on TV.
Yeah.
Really do need it. We do.
For sure, and it's sponsored by China. So here's the thing. I'm joking. It's not. So I think that's messed up. But my question to you guys is, I have experience in this department, as you know, Vin, and I'm not going to talk about it. Kelly, I'm not going to talk about it. It's fine. My lady cheated on me behind my back. It's fine. Whatever. We got
They
it.
got a beautiful kid out
We're
of
good, dude.
Yeah, we're good.
Is this a thing where this topic gets brought up a lot? Is
Like,
that what's
get
going
off
on
my
right now?
shoulder.
So, my question to you guys, Taylor, Brandon, Robert. Okay, this stuff is kind of garbage. Yes, I mean, it's garbage, all this stuff. My question to you guys is this type of stuff okay if you're a celebrity, or is it never okay and people like this deserve what they have coming to them? Taylor, I'm going to go to you first.
Wonderful. As far as is it okay because they're a celebrity, I would say no. Part of the reason I think from culturally perspective, when you look at the marriage rates, most of them end up in divorce. When you think of how much father absence and everything when it comes to our culture, everything is downstream from culture. And where does it start?
From
celebrities.
Correct.
And so, but the thing is, like, we glorify it. Why do we have a Real Housewives this, Real Housewives that? How well does reality TV do? It does really well. It's like brainless TV. And what does that do? It then goes from the culture. Because then what is glorified hoe culture essentially. And I don't know this woman very well, but I would assume she identifies as like, what do they call it? Like cougars?
Yeah, she's 100%. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
What's a cougar? I don't even know.
and nothing against cougars, like but when it comes to this, I would say it's probably more on the fame, and people will say just because they're celebrities, they kind of brush it under the rug, but they're still people, and they should know. I almost feel that we should hold celebrities to a higher standard because they're role models. Like a lot of people look up to them, and then they react their life that way. So I would say it's not okay because she's a celebrity, and we should not. I mean, they're humans. Like people do things. I'm not saying they're bad people, but we shouldn't glorify it at all, or just be like, yeah, it's okay. They're rich and famous. Like no, they're still people, and that goes on to the culture, and that's why what is it like 50% of divorces or 50% of marriages? I come from a family that's a broken family, and that's a generation thing, but it's okay, just try it out. It doesn't work out, and then you have divorces.
What about doing something behind someone's back? What about that? Where is that? And I mean, is that just like nowadays everyone's like if you love someone, you love someone.
No,
and that's just the way it goes.
And that's his son.
Is there any more bro code? Is there any more?
There
or is
should
that
be
out the door.
Yeah.
No, well, first of all, that's Michael. So Michael Jordan's
son.
It's embarrassing because him and Scotty. I mean, I don't know how close. Yeah, dude, they won God knows how many 6 championships together.
Is that true? What's the real relationship between MJ and Scotty?
There's some tension.
I think there's tension because
Scotty's pissed because of the money thing.
Yeah, the money situation, and if you watch the Last
also,
Dance,
son's banging his ex-wife.
Yeah, I mean,
Scotty has so much money. I'd be like, I don't give a f about the money. It's what you're doing to my ex-wife.
Yeah, I
thought
think
he's kind of broke.
Well, no,
Scotty? No.
I don't think Scotty. I don't know if he's broke, but the point about this is, I mean, and besides the fact that she's a Syrian, I could genuinely care less. It's just as a woman, just you're gonna. How would you're sleeping?
So
first of all, you're cheating on your husband. Or automatically, I don't like
Jada
it.
Pinkett Smith stuff
Yeah,
right
no,
there.
I don't do it. And of all people to pick, Michael Jordan's son.
That's such a backstab.
Like, come on.
How many times do you cheat? How many times do you see Scotty cheat?
Like,
You were like, I'm gonna go
it's
after.
extremely weird for both of them. Like I don't even know which one it's weirder for. Like it's weird for her to just seek out Michael Jordan's random son, and for him to just seek out his dad's ex-teammate's random wife. Like what the hell?
Yeah,
Like,
and if they ever, mind you,
Great for
this is the
TV.
greatest basketball player ever. Scottie Pippen, great facilitator. Number 2, I don't think Mike could have obviously won it without him, obviously.
No.
But now, can you imagine seeing this guy at like a, Hall of Fame thing or whatever, and it's just like, oh my, you're right. Even for Michael Jordan, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be like, Scotty, I'm so like,
No, I'm good. I'd be like, no, I'm good.
Cool. Number 2, you were number 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's tough.
But
Wow.
it's like,
Next segment.
yeah, no, but I think it's wrong, and I think to go into a deeper level, the making like all these fresh and fits, and where all these people, all these girls are whores that are glorified, and they're just like, I'm doing this, and it's disgusting to me. It's like no wonder why nobody's
And is
dating
it for
as
the
well.
money?
It's 100% is gonna be for the money and the fame, and you have to realize you're married. Your ex is Scottie Pippen. Everything that you do is going to be in the public eye. Every single decision you make. So to make that decision and not give a shit, it says a lot about you as a person, as your character.
I think it's so effed up because you're also dealing with another person's emotions. But I think in the grand scheme of it all, she's like, I'm getting even more rich. I'm getting even bigger, more clout. She's gonna go from Pippen's last name to Jordan's last name.
Oh my God!
You think about that?
And what about her kids? Oh, did she have kids?
Oh
Does she have
my
kids?
God.
Of course.
Okay, so guess what? Think about those kids.
Yeah.
Think about how embarrassing. Think about how embarrassing it is to, I don't know how old they are, but like your mom is you Google your mom, like Kim Kardashian. I know, and we're gonna move on to Taylor right now. Kim Kardashian's sex tape that her mom pretty much
Told her to do.
yeah.
sold, and but like her mother picked the best one because there's 2. This is a fact. Kris Jenner was like, there was 2 of them that Reggie had that he was gonna put out, and she's like, no, she watched it and was like, she's sexier in this one. That's Kim Kardashian's mother, like the ringleader of
She's
this
a
whole
Phil Jackson of sex
demonic
tapes.
freaking.
Nothing weird about that at all.
No, there's nothing weird about that. Your mom being your broker on your sex tape.
The love of money.
Kanye, say what you want about him. He paid Ray J to get that other one so it wouldn't be released. Like he got the basically the master of this video, and she was crying in the thing. She's like, my kids are never gonna. Guess what, Kim? All they have to do is Google or go on X or any website.
Yeah.
They could see you blowing a dude and banging him on camera, and that is her claim for fame. At the end and I'm sick and tired of hearing women. If I hear one more female go, yeah, but you gotta respect her hustle. No. I don't gotta respect shit. She got her claim to fame for banging a dude on camera.
Right.
That is it. And that's why I love.
Tell me how you really feel.
I'm gonna tell you, was it Barbara Walters? She interviewed the whole family, and they're all sitting there like a bunch of fucking ugly pigeons. And she goes, "You know what? You're on TV. You don't have any talent. You don't have any real talent."
Actually,
and what's her name goes? The one that's OJ's daughter. What's the big one?
Oh yeah,
Chloe. Totally OJ's daughter.
Yeah,
Doesn't match anybody else in the family.
100%.
She goes, "Well, being in reality, being in front of the camera, it takes talent." No, it doesn't. Shut the hell up. You have zero talent. You guys got your, and they banged everybody in sports. It's such an embarrassing. No wonder why Caitlyn Jenner had to switch up. He was like, I can't.
Yeah.
Let me give one a little bit. All right.
I was gonna say, do you guys think any of this is a little bit of the Romeo and Juliet, the forbidden love thing? Is any of that going on with this?
Well, I don't know.
The specific one.
Because I mean, like a lot of this is like you want to go after somebody that you're never supposed to be with or whatever. Is I mean maybe a little of that's going on there.
I read this today. I'll share it with you guys. It was from.
And then think about what you're gonna say before we go to the last subject.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
It was
she's
from Robert Greene. The moment people feel that something is prohibited, a part of them wants it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, of course. If somebody goes, no trespassing, and there's a swimming pool, and you want to go, you want to jump in, you want to.
That's so true. That's exactly what happened in my relationship.
Swimming
I think
pool.
we
Let me
all had
rub
a
the
little bit of
shoulder,
that.
Brady. Let me rub your shoulder. All right, Brady, what were you going to say last point before we go to the last one?
From the Kardashian thing, like I agree with most of what you said, but I would say they are very good at marketing, and Kris Jenner especially. I think she's a beast at marketing.
She turned a guy into a woman.
But here's the thing.
What's marketing?
Persuasion,
Marketing is just getting
100.
attention.
It's 100% marketing, and I get it, but I don't think it's that difficult to say, okay, Kim Kardashian, she's hanging out with Paris Hilton at the time. She was under her wing to become then. She's Robert Kardashian's, was that his name?
Yeah.
Robert Kardashian, OJ's friend / lawyer. Guys, she banged this guy. They recorded it. Let's sell it. That is some disgusting, like as a
Yeah,
parent.
no, there's nothing good.
But the
about
marketing,
it,
the marketing,
like she
good.
created 2 billionaire women.
Oh, yeah, off of that's what I'm saying.
bullshit.
Going back to
Sex
the
and
kids.
money.
Yeah.
Going back to my point that I didn't make is those kids for the rest of their lives can Google, and if they're ever in a real serious argument with somebody, you know what they're gonna say? Your mother's a whore. Your mother, you're here from a whore. I'm saying I feel bad because that's what they're gonna have to.
That's what Vinny
endure.
would say.
Oh, 100. If I was in an argument with that kid. Yeah. Anyway.
Kris Jenner's like the
Californication.
modern day Joe Kennedy though, because she ultimately got what she wanted for her kids. Like he wanted to make a president, she wanted to make an international like a model or whatever. you know. So she got what she
Icon.
wanted.
Yeah. Shout out
So
to
they're sleazy and like soulless.
So
but
can I refer to her as Bruce because I used to watch like Bruce is decathlon, fast,
the last pure athlete.
last pure athlete.
That's dead naming, Vinny.
Dead name. So
Dead naming,
okay,
Vinny.
whatever. The
HR call here. Dead
Hey, in the books, history books, it's still Bruce. Just letting you know they're dead naming in that. All right.
Fair.
Last topic we're gonna go into. Ron DeSantis. Okay. Patrick earlier this week interviewed Ron, as you guys, the governor. I shouldn't call him his first name. I don't know like that. We were at the first debates, and I saw the governor walk across the stage, and wasn't I the first?
You were. You called it out.
Give me props.
You
I
called
was
it
the
out.
first one, Taylor. I looked, and I swear to God, he was the first one I messaged. I go, is he wearing high heels?
Yeah. You were.
Because mind you, I've worn boots in the past. I lived in Montana. He was walking awkwardly, and they were curling up at the front like the Wicked Witch of the West shoes. And then I was like, it's weird.
Vinny, it's not even just the it's the way he lifts his knees like he's doing a high step.
Oh, like he's got flippers on, like he's
it's
walking.
so
down the
easy.
beach?
It's like this. When you watch him walking, you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly that. So Taylor, I want you to have the floor. Tell us about the story, and then we'll all have our opinions, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, it's super serious, you guys. When it comes to is DeSantis wearing heels, shoe experts say probably. He denies it.
Of
and
course.
so on the podcast, Patrick obviously asked him about that. And so I have to ask all of you guys, does Governor Ron DeSantis wear heels? And if he does, can he still be president?
Oh, well, I'm going to take it off to Rip Brandon, and then I'll let you go.
Yeah.
I think if he's lying about that, if he's lying about his height, which, how about this? He wouldn't take his shoes off. Pat gave him $1,000.
Said he can't get a gift.
Ferragamo. He can't get gifts. You know what I would have said? If I was Pat, I'd like, okay, fair enough. Why don't you just take off your boots and stand next to me? Just like, and here's my thing. Every time you hear a rumor or somebody's like, oh, it's a conspiracy, or like Hillary, you know, has 56 people that committed suicide or died under mysterious conditions.
It's true.
Why don't we just take a timeout, take your shoes off, or in the case of these people, take a lie detector test. It's easy. It's $300. The person will come there. We want to see it. I don't think he's 5'11". There's no way. I'm 5'8", and just off of his torso and his body height, mind you, he was talking to people, and I was just staring at the body and the hands and the legs. Even at the game, it was just weird. I think he has at least this much. I think he has like 3 or 4 inches, but the bigger thing is why do you guys think? Is it because Americans don't want a short leader, like going up against Trump? Because you know Trump would go like, he's not like the sanctimonious. He's actually over there under the sick. Can't even see him. He's high. Because if he's standing at 5'11", he's saying he's 5'11" right now. How tall do you think he is? 5'7"?
Probably 5'9".
Yeah, and this wouldn't be a bad thing if he just like owned it. Like same thing with the Trump stuff. Like he said he was asked, did Trump help you win? He said no. So those two things right there say what kind of person he is. Like from that interview, if you could own things that are the truth.
Just say it.
Or have a little bit of fun with it, like humor, be a little bit self-deprecating about the situation. And you mentioned like why would he do it? I have a question for you, gentlemen, because they're like, well, if he's short, he has to have a good personality. Well, if you're short and your personality ain't that good, do you wear high heels? Like,
oh my God, no.
That's a good question. I have both. So I don't know, Vinny.
Whatever. I mean, I've never wore high heels.
You're like, and I'm good looking, so we're good.
Well, I have worn high heels for a sketch, but no, I just think I think it's just so odd. But I also think it's odd that that's the one thing.
But could he be president? Viral. Could he be president? There is a picture of Bill Clinton in high heels with a blue dress on.
Well, painted. Come on. I mean,
and where was that found?
Epstein Island.
Epstein Island.
I think not.
I think it was in Epstein's house in New York.
I don't know. It just felt good when I said that.
Listen, DeSantis, I think it was a missed opportunity for him. Same thing with Taylor, to be self-deprecating or to say a joke back. He came off in the wrong kind of way. He came off super defensive and was like, no, I can't take gifts. The second he saw the shoes come out or whatever, it's like, you could have done this. You could have handled it a lot better.
Yeah, I think we actually have the video too.
Do we have?
I think we have. Do we have the video of him playing it?
By the way, after the podcast, normally people take photos, and he was out.
Really?
He walked right out.
He did not like the interview, you think?
I don't think so. Brady, when I say walked out, like I was like, we're not getting photos. He just.
And we know Patrick almost teed it up for him to be self-deprecating and like to make a joke out of it, because that's how Patrick is. Like he gave you a gift, like you could be funny, or hey, you made a good point.
He could have said I'm more of a Steve Madden fan.
Yeah, or he's like, I don't take gifts on camera, like off camera kind of thing. That's what Prez was saying.
I'm cool hand guy.
Make it a little bit more humorous when it comes, but we'll play the clip so you guys can actually see it.
Play this, Kelly.
Are you the type of person, like I have people around me that love to say, hey, Pat, you got something between your teeth. These are the annoying people in your life, right? Hey, Pat, pull your zipper up. Hey, Pat, do this. Hey, pull one of your socks is lower than the other one. I'm sure your marketing team points out how they're trying to troll you in the marketplace. Okay, I'm sure they're doing that. Can you bring this one clip?
Pat,
I know you were on, what do you call it? On, what was it? Bill Maher. Bill Maher talked about the boots. I've seen you walk with these boots. Go ahead and play this clip. This on TikTok went viral. It doesn't have 1 million views. It doesn't have 10 million views. This thing's got 1.2 million likes. And some people are wondering.
How do they? I don't even. I haven't seen that.
I've seen that.
They have not shown this to you. Okay, what they're trying to say with this is that in your boots, you have heels.
No.
That's what they're trying to say.
Those are just standard off the rack.
How tall
Why don't you wear tennis shoes and dress shoes?
I do wear tennis shoes when I work out. Yeah, 100%.
You do?
Yep.
Okay. I got a gift for you. I'd love for you to wear. Okay.
Look at Ron. Look how uncomfortable.
Okay.
Look at his neck. He's picking the neck.
I don't accept gifts. I can't accept it. I'm sorry.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast,
take off your boots and just stand there on the ground.
Oh, God.
What if it's crazy? What if he's like 5'4"?
Oh my.
What if he's like, no, but he's just like,
What if he's like, these are my daughter's boots. I couldn't find mine. I had to throw something out.
Like, I'm sorry. But
You remember those videos where it's like, what are those?
Yeah, those are.
Stage, like, what
Those are definitely one of those.
I had my wife look for Ron DeSantis in shorts because I wanted to see, like, okay, because normally he's got pants on, he's always covering the boots.
Couldn't find it.
And we see Ron DeSantis in shorts. There's
That's a good
one photo,
a
okay,
corner.
where he's on the beach with his wife. It's like a stage photo where they're looking all gorgeous. And then they are the same exact height.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Were you like,
The same exact height.
Like, you're like, is that
she's
David
not
DeVito?
5'11". She's not
No,
5'11".
she's not. It's funny you say that. I saw him in his JAG military uniform, and they're the same
right
height.
on each
And
other.
that's a great joke. Hey, heels or not, I got a beautiful wife. Like,
Yeah,
something
she's
like
hot.
that. Like, dude,
Yeah,
you
I
guys see
got-
my wife? Like, I ain't got no issues.
But here's the thing: has he always worn these things, or is it just during this presidential campaign?
I saw throughout his governorship, he's been wearing them because whenever you see him at like after a hurricane or something, when he shows up, any kind of live footage you see of him,
He's in those boots.
he's always got the boots on.
Yeah, but those
Yeah, you
boots
can't
are
be
specific.
halfway in. You have to do it all the time if you're going to do it.
You do.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
can't be showing up 3 inches shorter one day.
Exactly.
That would be. No, I think that'd be funny if he. What if he wins and just like 1 month he's just really short? You're like, wait a minute, and then 1 month he puts them on. And he just keeps messing with
Well, that'd be a
everybody.
good way to make it
And like the
known,
podium is like right here, and he's like, "Hey guys, you guys saw what I did with COVID in Florida."
Listen, I have a suggestion for him and his marketing team. At the next debate in Miami that's coming up, if you want to stick it to all the people that are like, listen, you're wearing...
for sure.
I think you need to wear some low-cut shoes and be like, at the request of Patrick Bet David, I am going to wear these just to prove to you all that I am the right height.
Yeah.
Standing ovation.
That or make a funny, like, remember when the Kofefe meme, like with Trump, and then they went back and made like a funny reel, it was like going through the White House, and at the end, Patrick Trump was like Kofefe. Like they could do something funny with this and like make it like show his personality. It's going viral. Like if his marketing team was good, and I put a poll. I was like, is Patrick gonna call out Ron DeSantis for his marketing team? And yes, he did.
And he did.
But he's like, they could use this as an opportunity to make a joke and like tie on to what's going viral on social media
100%.
to do that.
Well, think about it too. This next campaign is. I mean, the next debate is when? November 13th. 14th. When is?
It's coming up soon.
It's coming up in
yeah.
November. He's gonna the world is
Everybody's
watching.
gonna be watching. Everybody's gonna be watching.
Everybody's gonna be like, Ron, COVID, lockdown. What are those?
Yeah, for sure.
What are those?
Yeah.
Walk out in front of us.
What are those?
Oh man. So, yeah, dude.
So can he be president if he wears heels?
No.
If he
No.
admits it, then yes.
If he admits
keeps
it, but
doing
it's
this,
kind of crazy
no.
that Trump even said like this. What did Trump say yesterday?
Trump's lighting him up. I mean, this is
said, like,
it's not gonna go well.
Yeah, look, Trump's coming on the podcast now.
Yeah.
He's very
No,
happy.
Trump said, this was the kiss of death. But yeah, listen, all jokes aside, I think Governor DeSantis is amazing.
He's awesome.
That's one of the. I mean, obviously,
I think he's
I
great,
moved
too.
here because of Valuetainment and Pat, but
100%.
he's
100%.
trust me, picked the best state to come. Kelly, that's it, right? We're wrapped up. Hey, Robert, thank you for being the new unusual.
Listen, it's been my pleasure. Thanks for
Great.
having
This
me
was
on.
amazing.
Invite me
I
back.
learned
Hell yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Your cerebral. What was it called? What was your
Cerebral
major?
cortex.
Yeah, cerebral. What was your major?
Yeah, neuroscience and psychology.
Do you feel like I feel like you helped our brains a little bit?
I hope
you
I
woke
did.
us up a little bit.
brought
Robert
something
and
to
Vault
us.
mixed together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me 2 to wake up.
Taylor,
Drink your Vault.
Yeah.
Brandon, Brady.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the Michael Jordan's sister's cousin story right at some point. And everybody at home, thank you so much for joining us. Please subscribe if you haven't. Hit the notification bell to let you know when we're gonna be going live. We appreciate the support more than you know. Next week we have. Should I even say it, Kelly, or should I wait? We have a special guest. Next week. It'll be a surprise. But this guy, you're all gonna know him. He will be. Oh wait, is it the? I think it's the 13th or the 12th or something. Is that night? In 2 weeks. I'll tell you.
Is it
I'm gonna tell you.
DeSantis?
Guys, hold on. Let me retract. It's on the 13th or the 6th. It's in 2 weeks. I'll let you guys know, but just know somebody's very interesting is coming here. It's gonna be interesting. He's in the
spicy.
political spectrum. I'll tell you, Kelly, after this. But again, guys, God bless you. Take care of each other. We'll see you guys next week. Peace and love. We're out.